Good morning, Virginia. This is Virginia This Morning.
Welcome back to the show. The differences between people have offered strength, community, and identity. But these same differences have also been the historical basis for discrimination and oppression in our country. The Science Museum of Virginia's new exhibit, Race, Are We So Different?, is designed to help people of all ages better understand the origins and manifestations of race. Richard Conti, Chief Wonder Officer with the Science Museum of Virginia, along with Project Manager Tiffany Jana, are with us this morning. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
This sounds like very complicated stuff when you hear all of that and you kind of look at it on the surface, but you guys are concentrating on making race an approachable idea that people can really start to wrap their minds around, right?
Yeah, you know, the exhibit really gives you a chance to have a conversation, and it is a topic that some people are really reticent to want to discuss or talk about, but all of a sudden when you see it in the Science Museum and you examine it from a scientific perspective, I think it makes it a lot easier for people to talk about it.
Before we were on, Tiffany and I were talking just briefly about a group in town, Leadership Metro-Richmond, and this is one of their highlight topic days. So we've spent a lot of time having conversation about race, and the thing that I found very interesting was that it's really just kind of a classification system. There's no biological merit in it. So when you start dusting that off and kind of getting to the heart of things, people are surprised to find maybe we aren't so different.
Absolutely. It was a system that was made up, so it's challenging. One of the highlights of the exhibit, they look at the census classifications of specific people in a photograph over a period of decades, and it's remarkable how differently people are classified over time, because when you make a system up, it's not consistent. So the categories change, and if you move geographic locations, they change again. So we want to get down to the heart of what can you actually scientifically, prove? What can you compare? Things like DNA and blood type, those are actually relevant. Race really isn't.
Not so much.
Yeah.
When they mapped the human genome, they found that we're more than 99.9% exactly alike. And so it's just really a small part of us that makes it different. So then when you start digging into that and you realize that, wow, the color of your skin, is that really a way to categorize folks? And obviously it's actually really silly when you start to strip away and look at it from a scientific perspective.
It kind of becomes more of a genetic variation than it does actually anything that really matters at the end of the day. And as you said, I liked this word when I was doing the research, humanoids. We're all humanoids. So it starts to present that idea. Now, where did the idea for this exhibit come from? How did that end up at the museum? The
exhibit started at the Science Museum of Minnesota, and it was developed in conjunction with the American Anthropological Association. And again, I think a lot of communities, it's kind of one of those topics that is out there, and the fact that a science museum can kind of enter into the fray and kind of get that community dialogue going is a really good thing, I think. And we've got a lot of programming set up over the run of the exhibit that'll give people a lot of opportunities to come down and not just learn from the exhibition, but also to engage in a real discussion with folks.
My company TMI is going to be helping with facilitated dialogue, so groups that want to come through, see the exhibit, and then really grapple with what does this content mean, because just because the concept of race was made up and is not real in a biological sense does not mean that we have not given it tremendous value over the years. So like 35 Blocks, the portion of the exhibit that we at the Science Museum curated that brings local relevance to all of the race history, highlights some of the victories and some of the things that are not so great around race and the meaning that we've added to it over the years.
Because that's a very important part of the conversation.
That's
it's
right.
Easy to say, oh, it doesn't matter, but at the same time it matters to all of us because it's guided us for so long.
Exactly.
Is this an exhibit that's for adults and for children?
Yes. As a matter of fact, Family Cultural Saturdays were designed to engage the younger audiences specifically, because it is kind of heavy content, but there's plenty within the exhibit that is accessible to younger audiences. But we have 4 Saturdays left that you can look at the website and see what those dates are, where we're exploring cultural heritage around things like dance and music and food, arts and crafts, so kids can come out and have a festival-like atmosphere and explore not only the differences but also the similarities.
Fantastic. Well, thank you both very much for letting us know about the exhibit, and best of luck with it. It continues through March, correct?
Actually, all the way through April.
All the way through April. Got a little extra time there. Well, thanks for coming in, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate it. You can learn more about the Science Museum of Virginia's Race, Are We So Different exhibit. It's currently on display now through Sunday, April 29th. See, Rich gave us a little extra time there. Located just down the road from us right here at the studio. at CBS 6. The museum is at 2500 West Broad Street. For complete information, including info on times for the exhibit, log on to our website at WTVR.com/VTM. Well, we're taking